Hi, Wayne.
All right. Well, let's get started. We're going to just talk about lead generation today. So, kind of following up with the last session where we were talking about your sphere. I'm going to kind of bring that back up as essentially the number one lead generation tool that we have is our sphere. So, I'm going to just kind of make us rethink about that, but then just talk about and share some ideas that are potential lead generation pieces. Obviously, this is always a little tricky. We have experienced agents, in the office. We have new agents, so it's kind of just throwing some ideas out there. And I'll mention this a few times, but if you guys have any questions whatsoever about any of the tools or platforms that I mention, even though we're just going to kind of briefly talk about them, don't hesitate to reach out. Some I've used, some I can get information on if I haven't used it. Know the folks that are running it, whatever it is. So just kind of think of that as we're just kind of generically talking about some of those tools when we get to them. So we're going to actually just start with here. Find my mouse. So I'm not going to go through each one of these like I did when we were talking about the sphere, but I just can't stress how these numbers should affect how we think. When we talk about leads or retaining leads or clients or growing our business with new clients or new customers that hopefully will become clients. So just remember things like the 92% that say they will work with us down to 11 that actually do. We need to stay in touch with those folks. The average internet lead conversion, which is just a lead that doesn't know us. So we call it an internet lead, but it could come via text or phone. But if we don't know them, we just need to stay in touch with them a little bit more aggressively, maybe use a CRM to do that. So the huge conversion rate in our sphere. So I just kind of wanted to just talk about this again and just kind of mention how important that sphere is for us. And this is one of those things that if you do not have it, look, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing, let's just start your sphere. Let's start your database. If you need some help, gathering things up or backing up or exporting contacts from your email, things like that. Let's just start that process so that, in a month you can say, hey, I have a database. And if you have a database, please use it and use it effectively and figure out, what you can do to have it help you grow your business or retain your business. So just kind of stress that again. Just how important our sphere and our database is. So I'm not going to kind of go through those. I left it in there, but just to think about it again, why have one, building it, working it, what to communicate. We did that in the last session, but super important to us. Our number one lead generation piece for every one of us is our sphere. So just think about that as we're even talking about a lot of the platforms that I'm just going to mention, or tools, or just even ideas. Always think about starts with your sphere, and then hey, where else can I get a lead? And then again, anybody that has any questions or any thoughts, any comments on something you've been doing, please unmute yourself or throw it in chat, and we'll chat about that as well. All right. So besides your CRM, and I say CRM, but your database, I'm just going to list, some ideas here to just help us. And again, knowing that we have some experienced agents, we have, if we have some newer agents that are either watching or will watch a recording, or anybody coming into the business, these are just ideas that we're going to throw out as potential lead generation pieces. So just videos. So when I talk about videos, I put SEO in there. So that is search engine optimization. So that's kind of Google. Google absolutely loves videos. So we in the training I do for for my big company, you know, we have agents that have started doing videos, and folks are finding them, whether it's, hey, we did, you know, I did a video on Facebook or Instagram, or put it on my website or wherever. And we have folks that are actually finding these agents, and maybe just a comment, maybe, hey, I loved your video. You know, I might be looking, you know, so videos can work for, you know, a direct connection to a customer. You know, it's typically 40 seconds or less if you're going to kind of do a video, be upbeat. You know, you can do it yourself. You don't need to hire anybody to do it. If you know, if you can either have a camera or your phone and it's nice and steady, you know, just think about, you know, doing videos. So it's of you, it's of a house, it's of the, you know, you talking about the market or the, you know, the community that you want to either market or that you live in. You know, videos are twofold. So, you know, they can directly lead to folks watching it. Oh, that's right, Laura's a real estate agent, and you know, sort of that connection. But you know, absolutely huge in the Google world when we start talking about videos. Videos can come up on just a normal, you know, just a normal Google search. A video can come up if you say, hey, this is a video of the Chautauqua County real estate market or any particular title, and then the video of that, it can literally come up in a Google search, you know, increasing your SEO.
Hey, Wayne,
Yes.
just going to ask you how that really works because, you know, I watch when I'm home, I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I don't have YouTube TV, it's just videos. I'll go there and I'll search what I want to look at. And, you know, we have Paradigm here that automatically picks up our listings and put it in. And then, but it is Paradigm. But when I'm watching locally, and all of a sudden I've seen like Ginger and Heidi, they have their somehow Paradigm put it into YouTube video. And next thing you know, on one of the commercials, boom, it popped. Or not, I'm sorry, not a commercial, but on a hang out on a tag, like as I'm scrolling along, it'll pop up and I'll see. And I've seen it more than once. Ginger's face and Heidi's face comes up, and I'm just doing certain. A lot of people do local searches for YouTube.
Yeah, so it's a matter of you know, how you name it, or, you know, what you name the video, and then what tags you link to it. So in Heidi, can you maybe just tell us what you guys, you know, if you guys post on YouTube videos, and then, you know, kind of just your quick process for that, or what you might tag that attracts, you know, viewers, or that it pops up when someone's watching another video.
I really don't know.
Well,
So I do in my Paradigm, so they post for me on YouTube. But I do have hashtags in my signature.
Oh,
So every single one of my posts does have like hashtags and things like that, I guess. Maybe that's why.
like
yeah.
what you mean the hashtag, Heidi? You mean the pound mark, and what do you say after it?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I have like mine I have like my little slogans. So it's like hashtag CHQ Homes by Heidi. I'll do hashtag real estate, hashtag vacation properties, hashtag real, you know, whatever.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
you could do Chautauqua Lake, you could, you know, anything that brings it here, because the idea behind those hashtags is kind of when you consistently use them, you know, Google knows it. So Chautauqua Lake, and I'm just randomly Googling like, hey, I'm looking for a home on Chautauqua Lake. You know, it's just another piece. So kind of like we've talked before, you know, like your social media, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, because those are ideas as well. But your social media, your website, you know, then some videos on YouTube or wherever you put them. The MLS, like your name is number one, and then Real Estate Advantage can be two, and then Chautauqua Lake and Chautauqua County and real estate, and you know, any hashtags, any words you can put in your biography or on your website. Like the idea is, you know, Google just grabs all of them and says, well, geez, Richard's he's on Facebook and he's on Instagram talking about Chautauqua Lake, and then his website talks about Chautauqua Lake real estate, you know, and that's kind of how it all works. I mean, the issue we have is, you know, just as an agent, is that we're up against Zillow and Realtor, and they spend millions and millions of dollars, probably a month, in being first on the list. So it's kind of tough for us to think that someone's just going to randomly Google, you know, and you know, I'm going to come up in the top 5 or something. But it doesn't mean that we, you know, that we can't be found, or that if someone Googles us individually, you know, like, oh, okay, so here's your website, you're with Real Estate Advantage, you know, here's a few other things, you know, here's your Facebook, and then here's some videos that you've done on YouTube. So, you know, so it's really just, it's sort of a never ending, and I don't want to call it a battle, but it's a never ending thing where you just keep chipping away at it. And in a year down the road, if you just have some things and are posting a few things and then do a few videos, it's just, Google will just get more and more traction, to adding a little resume for you if someone was to Google.
Hey, Wayne, are you very familiar with our Paradigm program?
I'm going to actually come in the office and I'm going to sit with someone and have them kind of, you know, I played around with it, but I'm either going to take some videos or come in and chat with someone, because that'll be one of the sessions we have coming up, is we're going to actually talk about the tools we have and take advantage of it. And
Well, that's what I was getting at. I mean,
yeah.
Heidi probably knows it. If she's doing whatever she's doing, it's working. Because, like I say, when I'm just watching stuff on YouTube,
Yeah.
there comes their you know, their listing,
Yeah.
and it says Real Estate Advantage on it with their face, and so
Yeah.
we could get together. So
Yeah, maybe I'll get
have
Heidi,
that.
I'll get a hold of you, and maybe we can sit and just, you know, go through it, because, you know, kind of another piece that I always think about here is, you know, the idea of, you know, like, okay, a video, and then I got to post on social, and then I got to do that. You know, it's like, you know, you could think, man, I gotta spend, you know, 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there. So I'm going to spend like 3 or 4 hours a day on just social and video, you know. So we, you know, that it just won't work. And, you know, like, we don't have 3 or 4 hours a day. We should think about it because of the value and in the long-term value. But what can we do? What tools do we have? What tools are out there? You know, that not necessarily spending money to make it easy, but what, you know, what's out there where we can kind of slim this thing down and maybe do some videos and then just post them out, have them scheduled to post and things like that. So it's not like every morning you need to wake up and go, all right, I need to do this, that, you know, because we're running around and we're trying to sell stuff, obviously. So, but so, yeah, no, I love that. Great conversation. Great questions. So, but video is the first one. And in really all of these, with the exception of a few, I mean, just realize that, you know, if I post a video today, I'm not necessarily going to get a lead today. It's not like I posted a video, like, where's my lead? But, you know, doing 3, 4, 5 of these things and doing it consistently, just kind of getting your rhythm down, and which ones actually, you know, which ones will you actually do and be comfortable with, and not, you know, you know, and do every day or every week or whatever, you know, then you're just going to be out there. There's going to be like 5 extra little things helping you try to get someone, or retain a client, or have someone call you when they have a listing, that type of thing. So just kind of think of that through all these as well. So the next one, just, you know, throwing out there community events. So another great way to, you know, just to have your name out there, you know, that someone, you know, recognizes you, remembers you're in real estate, finds out you're in real estate, like, who knows? But obviously, like, I was out of town, but Bemis Fest this past weekend, or maybe 2 weekends ago, whenever it was, you know, obviously there was a table out front, and you know, that just events like that, whether it's, you know, joining with the office, or if you know, go out and do some things, maybe go out and volunteer some time and things like that, you know, that can lead to folks, hey, what do you do? I'm in real estate, and and having that conversation. So just another way for us to get our name out there. Obviously us first, and then real estate. I'm in real estate, but I'm with Real Estate Advantage. It's a bonus to to you and to the whole office. Just kind of throwing out direct mail. We've talked about it several times. It works. It's just a matter of being consistent at it, consistent with it, figuring out, what you're going to mail and who you're going to mail it to, because you may need, we talked about farming where, if I can't send one postcard letter or whatever to really anyone that I don't know and just have them think like, oh, of course I'm going to call Wayne. He sent me that one postcard or that one letter. So just know if you're going to kind of go after a street or a neighborhood or something like that, we're going to have to do it like we're going to have to contact them one way or the other, like 10 or 11 times is kind of the average. So then they're like, oh yeah, Heidi's the expert, man. Remember she's sending us all those stats on what's happening in the market. And she sent us something on what our house is worth. So, and I did put on there, just listed, just sold. Those are kind of consistently, beneficial if you do it, if you just kind of do it, because then the neighborhood is going to see you list it. The neighborhood's going to see you sell it, see the sign in the yard, see the pending, see the sold, it kind of all is starting to build up with that. If you get the second listing and then they get, another postcard and another, that whole process, that can be beneficial as well. But one thing that I was actually, it kind of makes sense, but I was actually kind of told this year in a coaching session is, just a sort of a side note, thinking about the just listed, just sold, actually the, kind of just listed, pending, sold. So the sign, if we put the sign riders up, that's a bonus. But, the thought of sending 50 postcards to the neighborhood, I like the idea, but if you don't get another listing in that neighborhood for 6 months or a year or maybe never, like those folks kind of got that, like just listed, just sold like 12 months ago. And if they're thinking about doing something a year later, was it beneficial? I mean, we might catch them if they're like a month or two out and like, oh yeah, that's right. But think about that if you're going to do it. One thing that I was told is we should be, every single listing, we should be sending to every single one in our sphere. So every single person we know, I have 300 people in my sphere, send them a, not necessarily a direct mail here, but could be an email, text, whatever. Hey, I just listed a property. Hey, my property went pending. Hey, my property went sold. So if you have 300 people in your database and you do that every time you get a listing, let's say you have 10 listings, that's, that's 9, let's see here, 10 listings, 330. So that's 9,000 contacts in a year. If you have 300 people and get 10 listings, because you're going to tell them listed, pending, sold, 300 times for 10 times. So, so just kind of think about, think about that when you are, listing a property. Think, like, have you told your sphere, in social kind of counts, but it really doesn't count. Let's figure out a way to add that to our database that, that you just listed a property. So just a thought there, kind of with that direct mail when you talk about just listed, just sold.
Hey, Wayne,
Yes.
if I could say something, that direct mail really does work because I do a lot of it. But I always do it the way I do it. I send out to, if I have a potential buyer, like I had one a couple months ago for Lake Erie, and I sent everybody, not everybody, I sent a lot of mailings out just to lakefront properties at Lake Erie. And I did get, believe it or not, I got a call yesterday. I got to go look at the property tomorrow. But that said, one thing I used to think about when I'd send stuff out, like, okay, I just sent in this area 6 months ago. Do I need to do it again, or can I wait a little while? Because it does get expensive, but the investment, I can tell you firsthand, is definitely worth it. So what I did, I figured, what can I do to get long shelf life for them to hang on to my card, right? Instead of, because most people, they get it, they okay, and they just ditch it, and they might find it in a few months down the road if they're ready. They might not, or they probably don't even remember you. So I had these cards. I'll hold it up to the camera, and anybody's willing to come and take one. I call Quick Solutions, and I put these in with my letters. Whenever I send out sold cards or sold letters, when I sell a place, I'll do, like, if I sell a place, I'll send out 20 letters or 30 letters. You know, they're form letters. Print them out, send them to the people, and then I put this recipe thing in here. It's like a keto thing, and it has a recipe on it, so it gives them a reason to hold on to it. And then on the back, it says top 10 things when buying or selling your home. Number one, call. I'll handle the rest. You know, and then we got the QR code. This one will bring them to my website, but you could have it go to the office, or if you have your own website, go to there. And but I think these are, if you're going to do the direct mailing, to invest a little money in these cards like this, your name's going to stay out for a long time. It'll at least stay in the drawer, you know, if the recipe's of interest to them.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. So, you know, I've always, you know, when we've talked about any mailings up to this point, I've said there should be value. So, you know, you're going to send them something that's value, but if you have the recipe card or you know, whatever with it, you know, you're going to be remembered if it, you know, if there's value, and they're going to hold on to something if you've given them something to, you know, to hold on to, put on the fridge, put in the drawer, whatever. So I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I just started doing it about the recipe cards about 6 months ago or so. But yeah, direct mailing, I can attest to it. It creates, it costs a little time and investment of money, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, I agree. And just for the record, you know, if we do have someone, you know, newer on the call, or if you listen to this, you know, sometimes maybe, you know, you've had no deals because you're new, or you have one or two deals, and to think, hey, I'm, you know, geez, like if I'm going to spend, you know, $1,000, like, do I even have $1,000? So just think about, you know, think about starting with things that maybe don't cost money, or get 100 recipe, you know, magnets or whatever, you know, and just kind of start with that. But think it, you know, it's not always spending money. But if you do, you know, make sure you're doing it, you know, you kind of have a purpose with it. And then, you know, just, you know, kind of let it start working over time. But, you know, we understanding that money is sometimes, whether it's an issue or whether it's, you know, just a concern, you know, in a certain situation, there are ways to, you know, to still make it work. All right. So, your online presence. So, you know, I think I don't know, I do these often. I'm trying to think if I've ever mentioned your online presence, but if you haven't, you really need to Google yourself. You really need to Google yourself and see what comes up. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, all the info is correct and your phone number is correct. And if you have a website, you know, the website's correct. And you know, it's extremely important. I have told you that you know, that above 70% of folks that are given our name or think about us, or you know, learn about us, and potentially might call us, or try to remember us, but you know, above 70% of those folks are Googling us. So they're going to Google, type in Heidi Brooks, you know, maybe realtor, maybe just Heidi Brooks, you know, hey, what's going to come up, kind of thing. So, so think about, you know, Googling yourself, kind of see what comes up. And there are a ton of places that we can actually go and create a free online, you know, free profile. So we can have if you don't have one, and have never paid for a lead, don't even want to pay for leads, you can go to Zillow and create a profile that says, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I sell in Chautauqua County. Here's my picture. Here's my biography. And you can do that with Realtor and Yelp and Angie. And I mean, there's so many, homes.com. You know, if it's not another real estate brokerage, like, we can't go to Century 21 and create a profile because that's another brokerage. But there are tons of places that we can actually go, and it's the same headshot and the same biography. So if you have the headshot and you've written the biography, Google will love seeing that biography on Zillow, on Realtor, on all these, plus on Real Estate Advantage, plus, like all over the place. So think about that. But, and if I've listed 4 there. Those are all ones that you can definitely, it's crazy, but I think the last number I heard, there are like 10 million people a year that go to Yelp and look for a real estate agent. Because guess what? Yelp will, like, if I want to eat something, if I'm looking for a haircut, if I'm looking for anything, Yelp's going to tell me the closest one to me. So, folks are apparently going to Yelp to look for real estate agents. So why not take 10 minutes or whatever it takes to go to Yelp and create a profile? So one thing you can just quick do is just go to Google, just type in real estate agent near me, something like that. Just keep it generic and see what comes up. So we know Zillow is going to come up. We know Realtor is going to come up, but go 3, 4, 5 pages deep and just make a list, because you're going to see Yelp shows up and like, oh, Yelp, and then Angie, and then homes.com. And, there'll be a lot that you can just make a list. And then now you have your list to go and create profiles. So, it'll take a little bit, but all of those will come into your Google search when someone Googles you. So it's ideal when someone Googles you that the whole list is all real estate. It's like, oh, Real Estate Advantage, oh, Zillow, Realtor, and then just every single one is just all real estate. And that's kind of what we want to kind of have a strong online presence. Your website, things like that, they'll all come up. So any questions, on any of this or on that, or you want any, more guidance, please just reach out anytime. Happy to help. So open houses, I just kind of throw this out there. Obviously, if you have listings, you're probably going to do them. But, if you're a newer agent, or maybe you don't have listings right now and are just kind of stagnant with that, ask any, agent that has a listing. Maybe you can do an open house for them. Hey, can I do an open house for you this Sunday or Saturday or whatever? And then you work something out with them. You get the leads from the open house. You're helping them sell it. Obviously, they don't have to do it on a Sunday, but you can. So, so it's obviously potentially on your listings, but also just know that you can, ask other agents and do an open house, for them. So social media, kind of talked about it, but just can't stress how important this one is. Figuring out, I hear it a lot, like, I hate Facebook, or if I get on there, then I'm on there, so, I get it. I don't like to be on Facebook anymore. It's more annoying than anything to me, at least. But it is important that we are on social media saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent, sharing a house, sharing something that says I'm a real estate agent, just talking about your day. I love what I do. I went and showed 2 houses today. You didn't say, are you looking to buy or sell? You didn't throw another house in their face. You just said, hey, I love what I do. Was able to show 2 houses today, and someone's going to go, oh, that's right, Heidi's a real estate agent. So it's important, whether you sometimes maybe you just pick one, and kind of go with it. But advantage is if you post on something like Instagram, you can have it feed to Facebook automatically. It will feed, or you can choose to feed it. So you kind of just like, all right, I'm going to post on Instagram 3 times a week or every day, whatever your number is. But then I know it's going to get to Facebook. So, so you can kind of take advantage of that and save a step in needing to have to go to 2. But like LinkedIn, you should have an account on LinkedIn. It should say you're a real estate agent. You should connect with folks. Just good potential there as well. If you haven't in a while, I'd suggest going on Facebook or Insta or maybe both, whatever. But go on Facebook and just hey, friend suggestions. The more people that are either on your, friends with you, or maybe like your business page if you have one, the better. So, so if you haven't in a while, kind of go through and friend some folks, or send an invite if you're doing if you have a business page that you kind of want them to, to follow because you're posting some good stuff or whatever. Something that maybe you can, do once a month or something, try to get 10 extra people that are, liking your business page. Just overall, a good business move, but yet building your, sort of building your online presence with social as well. So your website, obviously, if you, can be super valuable, obviously, if it's on a business card or your email signature, or, hey, you're looking for a house, go to my website, because on my website you can look for houses, but yet it's branded to me. And if you're on my website and ask a question, the lead's going to come to me. So we know if they go to Zillow, and are looking for, if our folks are on Zillow looking for houses, we know they're going to see other agents, because other agents are paying to be on and things like that. So anytime you can keep them, on your website, the better. Because then they're not going to see another agent. So if you don't have a website or haven't checked out your website in a while, maybe it needs a little refresh. Super valuable to have that website and be sharing it, and hey, check it out kind of comments, whether it's on social or again, in email signatures. It can, like Heidi's hashtags, just in, the simple things that work. So kind of having your website out there for folks to find and or check out can be super valuable. So HomeBot, I've talked about this before, but if if you haven't checked it out or heard about it, I think Rick's using it. I talked to Rick about it, and I think he did sign up and has put some folks in there. It's $50 a month, so this one is a cost. Some of these might have a cost, obviously, but HomeBot is $50 a month. You can put in, I don't even know if there's a limit to that. I think you can put in, however many folks you want, but just a name, email, and a home address. And they get a monthly email from HomeBot saying, hey, here's the value of your house. It's been accurate for Rick, I think. Overall, I think he put his, he started with his house, but he's, he sends it out. But it's a great email. It's not, there's financing options, refinancing options. It's a really cool little monthly email that goes out. And this can be one of those pieces. You put 100 people on it, you put 200 people, whatever number, and you just forget about it. You just don't have to think about it. It gets sent automatically. I don't need to stop and think. I'm not going to forget, to do it 1 month, because they just go out automatically. And it says, hey, your home's increased, your home's decreased, whatever. I've had folks, say thank you just because I sent it to them. I've had folks say, is this number real? It's kind of a good one to get
Wayne,
a response. Yes.
not to interrupt you, but what is is it homebot.com?
It's actually homebot.ai.
Homebot.ai.
AI.
And then what do? You go to this website and you punch in a potential customer's address?
Well, go to the website, sign up. If you're interested, I mean, you can check it out on there. It'll tell you everything about it. And if you're like, oh, okay, let me check it out, even for a month, no contract, you can cancel anytime. So if you do it for a month, what you're going to want to do is add folks in there. So start with 10 folks, start with 20 folks, name, email, home address. And they will immediately get an email that says, hey, this is what your house is worth. You can do your own CMA. You can update a CMA. You can update the number on it. I mean, you can kind of get pretty detailed, but just a great little platform to send out value. Like, so my personal, I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Rick about it since he started, but I've 0 unsubscribe rate, 0. And I think I have 104 in it right now. 0 unsubscribe rate. My open rate is about 82 to 83% every month.
What do you mean open rate and subscribe rate?
So unsubscribe, no one said don't send me this email again. So that's an unsubscribe rate. So everyone's staying in it. And my open rate, when I send 100 emails, 82 of them open up the email
Oh, I
every
see.
month. So, so it's pretty valuable. So, for $50, if I can set up 50 people, 100 people, whatever number, and I talk a lot, if we're going to send something, if we're going to email something, if we're going to post something, value counts. And there's nobody that doesn't want to know what their house is worth, period. Like, I'm not moving I just bought it. But I will still be very curious if you say this is what your house is worth. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to check it out. And every time that happens, you are the expert. You know the market, you know what's happening, you know their house. So you're kind of building that, repertoire with them, month by month.
So this HomeBot AI, when you put their address in, it must take the data off the assessor site, and then they just send them like a Zestimate on Zillow.
It is essentially a Zestimate, but they're far more accurate. It's connected, it grabs data from the MLS and things like that. So it's pretty accurate. I've had one that was, two listings from it this year, and they were both like, "Are you sure?" Like, and I was like, "Well, let's see." And one CMA came in a little less than where it, where HomeBot was, and one was almost spot on. And so but it's an accurate number. Worst case, you can kind of see the number, and if you go, oh my gosh, like, theirs is 100,000 more or something, you can adjust it, and then it'll resend it, or adjust it, and the next time it'll go out, it'll be kind of based on that number. Worst case, they're like, what are you, nuts? Like, my house is worth more than that, or
Right.
whatever, and it starts a conversation, so that's kind of a good piece as well. But yeah, HomeBot, just a tool out there. If you want to check it out, just go to the website and research it. If you do have a financial partner, so if you have a banker that you work with closely, they can actually get an account, and your account will cut in half, and you only pay $25 a month. And they're kind of sponsoring you, and they can use the platform as well. So if you do have a financial guy, mortgage guy, that's an option too. But it'll kind of explain it all on the website. So we talked about it, but FSBOs and expireds, just a little work, a little paying attention kind of thing, a little research, potential for listings, obviously for lead gen with FSBOs and expireds. Referrals and value props. So when I talk about referrals, just kind of be paying attention. Referrals can either be maybe somebody from out of town, oh yeah, Heidi, I Googled and found you and saw you sold properties in Bemis, kind of thing. Or referrals can be, hey, stay in touch with your sphere. They trust you, they know you, they remember you're in real estate. Let them refer folks to you. So it can be out of town folks, or it can be just folks they're at work, they hear, oh, it's time for us to list our house. We need those folks to go, hey, here, you got to call Heidi, or let me give you Heidi's number, or something like that. So the referrals are kind of twofold with that. And I kind of just added value prop because they need, whoever's gonna refer someone to us, they're not doing it because they're bored. They need to trust that yep, they're a real estate agent, man, they're active, yes, they sell in Bemis, so kind of value propping and using the social media and the videos and website and your online presence and all of that together, to have someone be comfortable saying, oh, you should call Heidi, not just because Heidi happens to be a real estate agent. We want them to kind of, really want to do it and trust that whoever they're telling them to, we're going to be able to help them and take care of them. So calendar magnets. So this is kind of what Richard was saying with the recipe thing. And one of my buddies gets a recipe book, or it's either that or a calendar from Tony every year. So I go over to the house, and sure enough, he does it just to, Tony's on the fridge, and Tony's on the fridge every single time I go over there. So, so those can work, I mean, that is an outlay of a few bucks. I mean, I do the calendars every year, just kind of a, a long calendar magnet. I think with that, and the kind of the cost of the mail, it's like I don't know, $1.25 or something. So again, may not be for everyone. Or if you want to do it for select folks, just think about, that longevity of, make it on the fridge. You got a shot to be remembered, better shot to be remembered, June of next year or whatever.
Wayne, when I send out my calendars, the only people I send them to are the ones I've sold houses to. I keep a mailing list. So every year I send them, and then, that's what I do for calendars. I don't direct mail them like a letter or a postcard, but I mean, it could work. I mean, a recipe card.
Yeah, I do as well. I have a either past clients or a select group that I send my calendars to, because you're right. I mean, I don't need to send it, to spend $1 or $1.25 to send to some completely random person and think, oh, that's going to get a deal for me. So just kind of what I choose to do. You can, if that was part of your farming process, that it wouldn't be a bad idea, but just kind of know, being that it's that money, just think about it and be as selective that you, selective as you want, or aggressive as you want, with with sending something like that. All right, next one. So branding, marketing, just another way to put yourself out there. So I was reading an article by Inman, who's a big real estate mogul, that branding is becoming more and more popular, and it's not like you got to spend tons and tons of dollars, but if you were to maybe either do it yourself or pay someone to sort of brand you a logo, and then use that, and or Heidi mentioned a tagline. So if you don't have one, you can just develop a tagline that that you can start using it. And then it's like every time you post, every time someone sees it, every time they see your email signature on your business card, here's your tagline. That's sort of a version of branding. So it's not that, in that case, it's just kind of using it, come up with it, use it. Obviously, if you're going to pay someone to design a logo for you, there is some cost, but the idea of branding and then marketing that, you can almost become sort of a household name, as you're doing it. It doesn't happen overnight, but that process can lead to that, and folks can, I mean, it's silly to think about, but you see the McDonald's M, no, you don't say, you just know it. So I can't expect to get to that level, but in some level, they'll just see, if they were to see a card or see a sign in the yard or things like that, it can all just sort of start connecting. And then they see a social post and things like that. It really can, make a difference, and kind of start helping you with your business. And something like that, I'm not an expert in it by any means. I'd probably go to Google, like, how do I brand myself, as a real estate agent, or some branding ideas as a real estate agent. That's just something I would do to kind of read a few articles and get a few ideas, and see what might work for me and at what level I want to go. But certainly could be valuable to check out if you're kind of thinking of doing something like that.
Wayne, I get a little confused with that, because I guess the staying compliant with, the brokerage is supposed to come before the agent, and, putting that out there. And if I change, like, say I want to go a whole nother route and be aqua blue, and, you know, have my own little logo and everything, I guess I don't understand how I can do that like on my signs?
Well, yeah, I mean, it does get a little tricky, but I'll just kind of use this is outside the brokerage, but I just see it and I know the rules. But I'll use Ruth Nelson with ERA Team VP. So she developed a logo, and it's the Nelson team. So if you see one of her signs, like ERA is very particular about colors and everything. So it's just, so it's actually twofold. So if I was going to do something, I'd meet with, Richard. I'd have to meet with someone to just kind of get the brokerage rules. And then there's also just the real estate rules in general. New York State says the brokerage name has to be so big, and it can't be like a little tab, whatever. So if you're going to do something like that, if you get an idea, and don't just go to town with it and go, hey, I'm doing my own thing. But sometimes, okay, so the sign, our signs, we're going to keep them the same, but I'm going to maybe add a sign writer on it, and maybe the sign writer is just my tagline, or maybe a logo that I created with my tagline, something like that. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's definitely a conversation if you're gonna kind of trying to create your own brand, like in a whole. Not that it can't be done, but it's got to be done within the rules of of the brokerage and keeping New York State in mind. So definitely, I'm glad you brought that up, Heidi. So just a couple other things, just building SEO. So I kind of talked about it with the videos. I talked about it with the online presence and social, but, things like reviews, things like blogging, I know blogging can be tough because it's like, I'm going to write a 3-paragraph, blog, but, there are ways to do it. There are subscriptions that you can get. So blog, someone will just post a blog on your social media or on your website, and you just kind of pay for them to do it. So there are different options with that, but reviews can be absolutely huge. So, and you can get reviews on Zillow, Realtor, Yelp, Angie. So, so think about when you create all those profiles and your online presence is being built, think about, hey, I just had a deal. I'm working with someone, I think they'll do a review for me, and you can send them a link, from Zillow this time. And maybe next time, hey, I'm going to add one to Yelp. And, maybe by the end of 2025, just to kind of put it out there, maybe you have 2 reviews on each post on social, and guess what reviews do? Google absolutely loves them, and Google will actually put those to a top of a search. So, so think about, Google, finding those reviews and adding them in, and ideally down the road, you have a platform that has 10, 15, 20 reviews, and that really stands out in the public's eyes, comes up high in Google loves it. And the public loves it if it's starred, because they know that someone went and did that. I can't do it myself. I didn't write them that says, oh, Wayne's the best agent, or, anything like that. They know when it's kind of starred that there's a platform, someone had to go to the platform, fill out the review. And that's kind of why they put so much clout, behind a review. But great for SEO. And the last thing, just newsletters. So I kind of think of newsletters, but I also think of, a platform like HomeBot as just kind of being a newsletter. So us, like, create, we have the newsletter that you can send out, but like, to really show value, I think of a newsletter as, hey, something that I don't have to, I'm not going to write a newsletter. I'm not going to sit there and write articles and put a newsletter together and send it out. But something that can be sent monthly, that shows value, that people get, and hopefully they open. So I kind of go back to HomeBot for that, or a tool that sends it automatically, it shows value, and the open rate is 80% or whatever you happen to be at. But you know, folks are actually opening it up and paying attention to it instead of just, you know, I mean, personally, I get an email and there's just a bunch of words. You know, I either delete it or I'm going to skim it. And I really kind of want them to know it came from me. I want to be happy that it came from me. I want them to, you know, to actually maybe read it, or at least, you know, not be upset that I sent it. So something to, again, kind of go back to HomeBot, or, you know, a direct mail or something like that, as a way to, you know, to show value, and ideally have it be sent out without you having to think about it and do, you know, spend hours and hours or something like that to do it. So I just have a couple other things. So just a few ideas, you know, so with the exception of HomeBot, obviously, if you're going to do a direct mail, there's some cost, but, you know, the online presence would be free. You know, there's a lot we just talked about that is zero cost, but I'm just going to kind of throw out some quick ideas on, if, you know, if you are thinking about spending money or wouldn't mind spending money, you know, these are some options. So sold.com, I'm going to just throw them all up there, and that way we can, you know, so something like, so OpCity, HomeLight, and Referral Exchange, you can just go create a profile on HomeLight and Referral Exchange. If you get a lead, they don't cost you anything. If you get a lead and it closes, same with OpCity, you just pay a referral fee at that point. So there's no upfront cost with those. Obviously, Zillow and you know, there is an upfront cost. I'm not against spending money on leads. I've never done Zillow leads, you know, but I'm on the other four, because if I get something, I'm gonna, you know, I'll just pay a referral fee. I don't mind. I wouldn't have gotten the lead if not, so I don't mind that. You know, Zillow, but if you're actually gonna spend money on leads, just be prepared to work them. So, you know, they convert it a little over 1%. So not every lead, you know, like, oh, that's a bad lead. Oh, that's a bad lead. No, you got to hang on to them. You got to work them. You got to put them in your database, send them emails, send them listings constantly, for them to kind of stay with you. But not against it, but just know that's the process. Sold.com, you can actually sign up and kind of be a part of their process. If you kind of sign up, they'll send you deals where you can actually get a zip code for like $50 a month. So, you know, the leads aren't plentiful if you don't pay, but I'm on the system. I'm okay with that. I might, you know, I'm thinking about in 2025, maybe getting one zip code, just kind of feel it out. I think they maybe make you do it for 6 months, but if you sign up, you know, obviously they're going to try to get you to spend money. You don't have to, but, you know, feel it out, make sure it's going to work for you. I'm not a fan of just spending money and then figuring it out later. So I kind of like to do a little research, think about it, see if there's value there. But that is an option, is, you know, sold.com for, and they actually advertise listing leads. So it's not a bad thing either. And then just the last thing, just four ideas here. So kind of everything we've talked about, your online presence and SEO, almost zero cost. You know, just more time, you know, making sure you have your headshot, making sure you have a biography, getting in there and just kind of figuring it out. You're going to log into Zillow and be like, okay, you know, I mean, you just got to kind of click through. Every website's different, but taking the time to do that, so valuable. 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years and beyond. So that's one that I highly suggest. Develop a social media strategy. And I say this just because, you know, if you just kind of wake up and post today and then don't post for another week, like, don't tell anyone you have a business Facebook page. Just don't even tell them, you know, because if you're going to tell me you have a page, or try to get me to like a page, I need to see a valuable post, whether it can be once a week, it can be, you know, twice a week, whatever the process is, but that strategy. And so figure out what works for you, figure out what you'll actually do, but put a little plan together. You know, in my phone, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to have a little, hey, post on Instagram, you know, the message, and I'm going to leave it on there until I actually do it. So, but actually, coming up with a strategy that works for you, you'll actually do it, will make a big difference, June of next year, December of next year. So lead capture and follow up. So if I do get a lead, I need a process in place. I can't get a lead and then just, I got 2 deals happening, and then one guy comes into the mix. I show him a house. He goes quiet for 2 weeks. Well, I'm the one that needs to reach out to him. Like, he's not a bad lead because he disappeared for 2 weeks. He got busy. He hasn't found a house he likes to even want to see. Maybe he's early in the process and he's going to be, he's going to need another, 6 months of looking, but that's up to me to follow up. So I want to take that lead or the capture percentage and conversion percentage and take it from the 1.2 to the 6.2 or 10.2 or whatever process. But that's up to me to lead capture, and then follow up is the number one thing. And then the last thing, of course, I'm going to throw it in there: work your sphere of influence. It's so crucial that that's our number one lead source. So if I'm not working it properly in every single day, and hopefully some of it's automated, whatever, I shouldn't even be looking for other leads. I shouldn't even talk about needing another lead if I'm not starting with my sphere. So super valuable to start there, get that process down, and then just dabble in the other ones. And then as you get a new lead, you have a process down. Oh, they go in my database, they get put on this, I put them on this, whatever that is, they get added to HomeBot, whatever. But I'm actually working them. And then I have a process in place for when I get that next lead. And that'll be a huge key for me to start retaining and hanging on to them, and then converting more. All right. Well, that is what I had today. So hopefully that was valuable to everyone. If anyone has any questions, like I say, please don't hesitate to reach out.
No, it was informative. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Okay,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.